Your testosterone is being destroyed every single night. Not at the gym, not at work, in your bedroom, while you sleep. And the worst part, you're doing nothing about it because nobody told you what to eat before you close your eyes. 5 foods, tonight. That's all this takes. Number 1. Sardines. Not the fancy kind, not the ones in olive oil with a French label, the cheap tin at the back of the grocery shelf that nobody touches because it smells like the ocean and effort. Here's the mechanism. Testosterone is a fat-soluble hormone. Your body literally cannot produce it without dietary fat, specifically omega-3 fatty acids and vitamin D. Sardines deliver both in one shot. A single can gives you roughly 1,800 milligrams of omega-3 SS and anywhere from 200 to 300 IU of vitamin D. A 2023 review published in Frontiers in Nutrition confirmed that higher fish intake, particularly oily fish, is directly associated with higher serum testosterone in men. The omega-3s support Leydig cell function. The Leydig cells are the cells in your testes that actually manufacture testosterone. You want those cells working. Feed them 1 can before bed. Packed in water, not oil, if you're watching calories. Eat it cold, eat it hot, eat it straight from the tin with a fork, like a man who doesn't need a recipe. The supplement industry would put sardine extract in a black capsule, call it Omega Test Pro, charge you $60 a month, and put a shirtless guy on the label. It's a $2 tin. Same result. Think about that. Number 2. Pumpkin seeds. Raw. Not roasted, not salted, raw. The mechanism is a 2-mineral combination that most training men are chronically short on: zinc and magnesium. Zinc is not optional for testosterone. A landmark study, published in Nutrition, the peer-reviewed journal, showed that 6 months of low zinc intake caused a 75% drop in serum testosterone in healthy men. 75%. From food, not from a disease. From not eating enough zinc. Magnesium works differently. It binds to sex hormone-binding globulin, the protein that locks up your testosterone and makes it unavailable. More magnesium means more free testosterone circulating in your blood. A 4-week trial showed that 450 milligrams of magnesium per day increased total testosterone by approximately 24% in active men. Pumpkin seeds also contain tryptophan, which your body converts to serotonin and then to melatonin. Better sleep architecture. Deeper, slow-wave sleep. And here's why that matters. 70% of your daily testosterone is produced during sleep. Not during the workout, during sleep. Every item on this list is working while you do absolutely nothing. That's the most efficient play in this entire niche. The dose. 1 ounce, raw, before bed. That's about a small handful, not a bag. 1 ounce, I know. Pumpkin seeds. Sounds like something you eat at a farmer's market while you discuss your feelings. Eat them anyway. Your testosterone doesn't care how they sound. Number 3. Pomegranate juice. Pure. Not the cocktail blend. Not the one with apple juice filler. 100% pomegranate juice. Here's the study. Queen Margaret University, Edinburgh. 60 healthy adults. 2 weeks of daily pure pomegranate juice. Result? Salivary testosterone increased by an average of 24%. Cortisol dropped. Blood pressure dropped. Mood improved. This was a controlled repeated measures study published in the Endocrine Abstracts. It's not a blog post. It's not a supplement company's marketing material. It's a study. The mechanism is aromatase inhibition. Pomegranate contains elagitannins, compounds that block the enzyme that converts your testosterone into estrogen. Less conversion. More testosterone stays in circulation. That's the play. The dose. 8 ounces. Pure. Before bed. Not a glass of juice cocktail with pomegranate on the label. Read the ingredient list. If it says anything other than pomegranate juice, put it back. Let me stop here for a second, because there's a pattern in everything you've heard so far and it's not random. Cortisol and testosterone run on a direct seesaw. When one goes up, the other goes down. That is not a metaphor. That is endocrinology. Cortisol is your stress hormone. It is produced by the same biological pathway that produces testosterone, the HPA axis. When your body is under chronic stress, it prioritizes cortisol production. Testosterone gets deprioritized. Your body is making a survival decision. It doesn't care about your physique. It cares about keeping you alive. Every food on this list attacks that seesaw from a different angle. Some raise the testosterone side directly. Some lower the cortisol side. Some do both simultaneously. The men who understand this mechanism get results. The men who don't keep buying supplements that address neither side of the equation. The rest of this list is about pushing the right side. Number 4. Raw cacao nibs. Not chocolate, not dark chocolate with 70% cacao on the label. Raw cacao nibs. The unprocessed seed of the cacao plant before heat destroys half the nutrient profile. The mechanism is dual. First, magnesium. 1 ounce of raw cacao nibs delivers approximately 16% of your daily magnesium requirement. We already covered what magnesium does to sex hormone binding globulin. More free testosterone. That's the first mechanism. Second, cortisol suppression. A study published in the Journal of Proteome Research, peer-reviewed, not a wellness blog, found that 40 grams of dark chocolate per day for 2 weeks significantly reduced urinary cortisol and catecholamines in healthy adults. Raw cacao has a higher concentration of the active polyphenols than processed dark chocolate. The cortisol effect is real. The mechanism is real. 1 ounce of raw cacao nibs before bed. You can mix them into a small amount of raw honey if the bitterness is too much. They taste like unsweetened chocolate, which is exactly what they are. The supplement industry would call this adaptogenic cacao complex, put it in a matte black bag, and charge you $45 for what costs $3 at any health food store. Same compound, different packaging, different price, same result. Number 5 is the one that ties everything together. It works on the cortisol side and the testosterone side simultaneously. And there are 2 separate double-blind clinical trials proving it. Coming up right after this. Number 5, ashwagandha root powder. This is the hero item. This is the one I teased at the beginning, and it earns that position. Ashwagandha, Withania somnifera, is a root that has been used in Ayurvedic medicine for over 3,000 years. I don't care about the 3,000 years. I care about the clinical trials. Trial 1. Published in the American Journal of Men's Health. Randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled crossover study. Men given a standardized ashwagandha extract for 8 weeks. Result: salivary testosterone increased by approximately 15% compared to placebo. Statistically significant, peer-reviewed, done. Trial 2. Published through the Natural Health Research Institute. Standardized with analyzed glycoside extract. 60 to 120 milligrams per day. Result: serum cortisol reduced by 66 to 67%. Testosterone in men increased by 22 to 33% in a double-blind placebo-controlled trial. That is not a small number. That is not a trend. That is a documented, replicated, peer-reviewed result. Here's the mechanism. Ashwagandha is classified as an adaptogen, a compound that modulates the HPA axis, the same axis that controls both cortisol and testosterone production. It doesn't just lower cortisol, it recalibrates the entire stress response system. When cortisol drops by 66%, the biological resources that were being diverted to stress response get redirected. Testosterone production goes up because the system is no longer in survival mode. The dose: 300 to 600 milligrams of a standardized extract before bed. The studies use divided doses, morning and evening. But the evening dose is particularly relevant because cortisol naturally spikes in the early morning hours. Taking ashwagandha before sleep gives it time to work on that system before the spike hits. The form matters. Look for KSM66 or Sensoril on the label. These are the standardized extracts used in the clinical trials. Generic ashwagandha powder from an unlabeled bag has no guaranteed withanolide content. The withanolides are the active compounds. If they're not standardized, you don't know what you're getting. A man who walks into a room with 33% more testosterone and 66% less cortisol carries himself differently. Every woman in that room reads it before he says a word. That's not a claim. That's biology. Remember what I said about the cortisol-testosterone seesaw in the bridge? Ashwagandha is the only item on this list that attacks both sides of that seesaw simultaneously. That's why it's number 5. That's why it's the one I teased at the beginning. Here's what tonight looks like. 1 can of sardines, 1 ounce of raw pumpkin seeds, 8 ounces of pure pomegranate juice, 1 ounce of raw cacao nibs, 300 to 600 milligrams of standardized ashwagandha extract. That's it. That's the entire protocol. You don't need to do all 5 tonight. Pick 2. Start with the ashwagandha and the pumpkin seeds. Those 2 alone address zinc, magnesium, cortisol, and the HPA axis. That's the minimum effective dose. Do it for 2 weeks. Consistent. Every night. Before bed. The men who get results from information like this are not the men who find it interesting. They're the men who act on it tonight. Not next week. Not when they finish their current supplements. Tonight. The information is free. The execution is on you. Here's the truth most fitness channels won't tell you. Your testosterone is not primarily a gym problem. It's a recovery problem. It's a sleep problem. It's a cortisol problem. The gym is where you create the stimulus. Everything that happens after you leave the gym determines whether that stimulus produces results or disappears. The supplement industry built a billion-dollar business on the gym side of that equation. Nobody makes money selling you sardines and pomegranate juice. So nobody tells you about sardines and pomegranate juice? Now you know. Tomorrow I'm covering the 5 worst things men eat before bed that are actively destroying their testosterone while they sleep. If you thought tonight's list was useful, that one is going to be uncomfortable. Subscribe so you don't miss it. One more thing, go eat the seeds.